Can a spiritual philosophy that emerged over 2,500 years ago, like Buddhism, truly align with the rigor of modern science, a discipline built on experimentation and logic? At first glance, they seem worlds apart. Their intersection is nothing short of extraordinary. The connection, science, with its tools for precision and evidence, has not only complemented but also illuminated Buddhism's abstract concepts. Ideas such as a non-self, Anatta, a causality, karma, and impermanence, Anicca, are now transformed into relatable truths, rooted in practical, everyday relevance. This fusion has unlocked new pathways for Buddhism, no longer an enigmatic faith, but a universal wisdom now reaching modern audiences through the clarity of science. Ancient teachings, modern validation. What the Buddha taught beneath the Bodhi tree is today being proven by science. And meditation, once a mystical practice for calming the mind, is now shown to restructure the brain and enhance overall well-being. Profound ideas like rebirth and the cycle of existence, once dismissed as philosophy, align with discoveries about consciousness and the constant transformation of energy in the universe. A shared goal. Despite their differences, both Buddhism and science pursue the same ultimate goal, truth. A science reaches outward, unraveling the mysteries of the physical world with its microscopes and machines. Buddhism, on the other hand, looks inward, exploring the depth of the human mind and the nature of existence. And their paths converge, leading humanity toward profound realizations about life and its essence. Why it matters? Place these two fields side by side, and you might assume their paths would never cross. But the reality is stunning. As science deciphers the mechanics of the universe, Buddhism decodes the human experience within it. Together, they create a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, forming a complete and harmonious worldview where one enhances, rather than contradicts, the other. Let's dive deeper into this unexpected synergy, exploring how their parallels and contrasts uncover timeless truths about impermanence, causality, and the nature of existence. Similarities between science and Buddhism. 1. The spirit of experimentation. The Buddha encouraged personal verification and experiential understanding over blind faith and doctrine. He taught that every truth must be observed, reflected upon, and validated through individual practice. This mirrors the ethos of modern science, where a hypothesis is only accepted when supported by empirical evidence. For example, the Buddhist concept of Anatta, non-self, challenges the conventional belief in a permanent, unchanging self. Modern neuroscience now supports this idea, revealing that consciousness is not a fixed entity but rather a dynamic interplay of brain activities. 2. Impersonal and holistic thinking. Both science and Buddhism seek truth free from personal bias or emotional influence. The Buddha emphasized that everything in the universe exists as part of an interconnected web of cause and effect. Nothing exists independently without relying on other factors. Similarly, science examines natural phenomena through the principle of causality, such as how planets orbit the sun or how molecules interact with one another. 3. Acceptance of change and impermanence. Buddhism has long taught the concept of Anicca, impermanence, asserting that everything changes and nothing is eternal. This aligns with scientific principles, such as the second law of thermodynamics, which explains how energy and matter are constantly evolving and transforming into new states. 4. A commitment to community welfare. Both Buddhism and science share a dedication to serving humanity. Buddhism aims to alleviate suffering and promote well-being through compassion and wisdom. Similarly, science strives to advance knowledge and create innovations that improve the quality of life for all, from medical breakthroughs to sustainable technologies. The ultimate goal of science is to benefit humanity collectively. 5. A quest for understanding reality. Both Buddhism and science are driven by a profound desire to uncover the truth. While science explores the external world through observation and experimentation, Buddhism delves into the inner workings of the mind and consciousness. Despite their differing methods, Both disciplines aim to deepen humanity's understanding of the universe and our place within it. 6. The principle of interdependence. Buddhism's teaching of pratitya dependent origination, emphasizes that all things arise and exist through their interdependence with other factors. This idea resonates deeply with modern scientific principles, such as the conservation of matter and energy. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. It merely transforms from one form to another. 7. A humble approach to knowledge. Both Buddhism and science acknowledge the limits of current understanding. The Buddha himself discouraged clinging to rigid beliefs and encouraged an open mind to new insights. Similarly, science progresses by questioning assumptions and refining knowledge through ongoing inquiry. Buddhism and science, though originating from different paradigms, share a surprising number of parallels. Their shared commitment to uncovering truth, embracing change, and improving human life creates a bridge between spirituality and empiricism that enriches our understanding of the world. Together, they offer complementary paths for the intellectual and spiritual growth of humanity. Differences between science and Buddhism. 1. Ultimate goal. Buddhism focuses on ending suffering through enlightenment, emphasizing the development of the mind and spirit. In contrast, science seeks to understand the natural world and enhance human life, primarily through advancements in material well-being. 2. Approach. Science relies on tools, machines, and precise measurements to gather data. Buddhism, on the other hand, employs meditation and introspection to gain profound wisdom about the self and the universe. For example, when studying the mind, scientists utilize technologies like MRI scanners to analyze brain activity. In comparison, the Buddha used Vipassana meditation over 2,500 years ago to explore the nature of consciousness directly, through deep internal observation. 3. Scope of application. Science is largely confined to the material world and observable phenomena. Buddhism, however, extends its insights to the realm of the mind and spirit, offering guidance on how individuals can confront suffering, cultivate happiness, and uncover the deeper meaning of life. 4. Epistemology. Buddhism emphasizes direct personal experience as the most reliable source of knowledge. Teachings are meant to be verified through meditation and self-awareness, rather than being accepted on faith alone. Science, in contrast, relies on empirical evidence that can be observed, measured, and independently verified by others. Knowledge in science is contingent, always open to revision based on new evidence. 5. Nature of reality. Buddhism delves deeply into the nature of ultimate reality, asserting that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, sunyata, and interconnected through dependent origination, pratitya. Science, however, often operates within the framework of materialism, focusing on observable and quantifiable aspects of reality without addressing metaphysical dimensions or ultimate truths. 6. Timescale of truth. Buddhist teachings claim timelessness, with principles such as impermanence, Anicca, and non-self, Anatta, being applicable universally across eras. Scientific truths, on the other hand, are provisional and evolve as new discoveries challenge and refine existing theories, e.g., the transition from Newtonian physics to Einstein's theory of relativity. 7. Concept of the observer. In Buddhism, the observer plays a crucial role. The practice is inherently subjective, with the ultimate goal being to transform the observer's perception and experience of reality. Science strives for objectivity, aiming to minimize the observer's influence on the results of experiments or the interpretation of data. 8. Treatment of suffering. Buddhism identifies suffering, dukkha, as the core problem of existence and offers an extensive framework, the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, for overcoming it. Science addresses suffering primarily through physical and psychological means, such as medicine or therapy, focusing on alleviating symptoms rather than addressing existential or spiritual dimensions of pain. Buddhism and science, though distinct in their goals and methods, complement each other. Buddhism focuses on inner transformation and the alleviation of suffering, offering timeless insights into the human experience. Science, rooted in empirical evidence, seeks to understand and harness the natural world. Together, they bridge the material and spiritual realms, providing a holistic understanding of reality and enriching our exploration of existence. As we've seen, both Buddhism and science offer valuable insights into the mind and its role in well-being. Science explores the mind through research, while Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness to master it. Consider the story of Mara Thang, a man whose mental suffering was beyond the reach of conventional healing. Only through the Buddhist teachings of mindfulness and meditation did Mara Thang find peace. This journey of healing reflects a core truth recognized by both science and Buddhism. True healing begins within the mind, and through understanding and awareness, we can transform suffering into peace. Mara Thang, a journey back to peace. In a peaceful village near the forest where the Bodhi tree stood, there lived a man named Mara Thang. Once, he had been an ordinary man, living a simple life with his family and work. But one day, something shifted within him. His thoughts grew clouded, and soon his behavior became erratic. He would suddenly lash out in anger, laugh uncontrollably, or speak to himself in strange, fragmented sentences. As time passed, Mara Thang's condition worsened. His community grew distant, unable to understand the turmoil he was facing. His family, too, felt helpless as he became more and more withdrawn. The villagers began to refer to him as the madman, and no one could offer any solution. He wandered aimlessly, lost within his own mind, his body beyond his control. Despite all efforts from the villagers, consulting healers and performing prayers, nothing seemed to help. One day, as Mara Thang drifted through the village in his disoriented state, the villagers made a decision. They would take him to the Buddha, who was known not only for his wisdom, but also for healing the suffering of the mind. Though none of them had ever witnessed anyone recover from such a condition, they hoped the Buddha might offer a path to peace for him. When Mara Thang arrived where the Buddha sat in meditation, his mind was a storm of confusion. He shouted, acted erratically, and accused the villagers. Yet, the Buddha sat still, his serene presence unwavering. With eyes full of compassion, he observed Mara Thang without judgment, remaining calm in the face of his chaos. Without fear, the Buddha called Mara Thang closer and gently asked, "Do you know why you suffer?" Mara Thang, lost in his madness, could only nod but was unable to speak. The Buddha continued, "Do you feel as though you are trapped in your own mind, where everything is in disarray and nothing makes sense? Can you feel the turbulence inside you?" Mara Thang, though unable to express himself, silently acknowledged the truth. His mind was indeed like a storm, restless, never still. The Buddha, with profound kindness, began to speak of the nature of the mind. He explained that our thoughts and emotions are often the source of our suffering. Mara Thang's condition, the Buddha revealed, was not a reflection of his true nature, but a result of a disturbed and unchecked mind. Emotions such as greed, anger, and ignorance were pulling him in every direction, preventing him from simply observing them. "Can you see your thoughts without becoming entangled in them?" the Buddha asked. "Can you notice how they come and go, like waves in the ocean?" Mara Thang was confused, yet something stirred deep within him, a flicker of curiosity, a desire to understand, a yearning for peace. The Buddha then taught him the practice of mindfulness, to observe thoughts without attachment, to let them pass like clouds drifting through the sky. He asked Mara Thang to focus on his breath, to sit quietly and observe the flow of thoughts without judgment or resistance. As Mara Thang did so, he felt a strange calmness begin to envelop him. The noise in his mind, once chaotic and overwhelming, began to quieten. Over the following days, the Buddha continued to guide Mara Thang, teaching him how to sit in stillness, to observe his thoughts without engaging with them. It was not about suppressing his emotions, but understanding their impermanent nature. Slowly, Mara Thang began to feel a profound shift. His turbulent mind began to settle, and the anger and fear that had once consumed him began to fade, replaced by a quiet awareness of the present moment. With each passing day, Mara Thang regained control over his actions. He was no longer lost in the storm of his mind. His relationships with those around him began to heal, and he found peace within himself, a peace he had never known before. He had not only healed his body, but he had also transformed his mind, learning how to navigate the turbulence of his emotions with clarity and calm. The meaning of the story. Mara Thang's story reflects a central teaching of the Buddha. The mind is the root of all suffering. Mental disorders are not merely physical conditions, but reflections of an unsettled mind. The Buddha taught that through mindfulness and meditation, we can master our thoughts and emotions, discovering the true nature of our minds. In modern times, while science has yet to find a complete cure for all mental health conditions, practices such as mindfulness and meditation have been shown to help improve mental well-being. These teachings, introduced by the Buddha more than 2,500 years ago, continue to offer healing to those suffering from mental and emotional distress. Mara Thang's journey reminds us that true healing begins from within. By understanding our minds and practicing mindfulness, we can transform even the most chaotic thoughts into a state of peace. Through analyzing the similarities and differences between Buddhism and science, and reflecting on the real-life story of Mara Thang's spiritual healing, we come to a profound conclusion. Regardless of who we are or where we are born, we are all subject to the universal laws of life, such as the law of cause and effect, impermanence, and non-self, principles that the Buddha revealed. Science, as an empirical discipline, derives its conclusions through experiments and evidence. And while science has flourished in the last 400 years, Buddhism has existed for much longer. In fact, Buddhism laid the foundation for many scientific inquiries. Though modern science has made remarkable breakthroughs, it has yet to explore the deeper, spiritual dimensions of the human soul. Many illnesses and mysterious conditions still puzzle the scientific community today. We, the descendants of the Buddha, live in a time where the true teachings of Buddhism are increasingly obscured. We cling only to the tangible world before us and fail to pause and reflect on the deeper causes of our struggles. We are like young sprouts searching for nourishment from the root. The answers we seek lie within ourselves. Does this sound unusual? In fact, it is the most profound and accurate answer for each of us at this moment. By returning to mindfulness and embracing the Buddha's teachings, we can begin to realize that only you know who you truly are and what you truly need because you are unique. No one else can walk your path. The teachings of the Buddha honor and celebrate the truth within each of us, guiding us to awaken the Buddha nature within ourselves. Through this process, we can find the righteous path to peace, healing, self-realization, and wisdom. Now, are we willing to pause, reflect on ourselves, and listen to the depths of our own soul? When we truly understand ourselves, the principles of life, and the connection between body and mind, could it be that the answers we've been searching for have been within us all along? Let us ponder, take action, and explore the inner path to discover true peace and freedom. Thank you all for being with me on this journey. If this video has touched you, don't forget to like, share, and hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Let's keep walking this path together.